This is the third video in my Attack on Titan arc analysis series, and in this video I'll be covering the third arc of Attack on Titan, the Battle of Trost. During this arc, we see the re-emergence of the Colossal Titan, who returns after 5 years. In a similar manner to how the Colossal Titan had attacked the Shiganshina district, this time it appears on the outer wall of the Trost district, a town that is located in the southern section of Wall Rose. Just like before, the Colossal Titan wants to create a breach in the outer wall of the Trost district, thus allowing the Titans to flood into the town, similar to how they did in the Shiganshina district. A lot occurs during this arc, including the death of several soldiers, as well as Eren being presumed to have died but then gaining his Titan abilities, and the conclusion of the arc focusing on Eren using these Titan abilities to seal the hole that is formed within the Trost district with a giant boulder. So my aim with this video is to analyze the different story events that take place and the impact that they have on the characters, as well as going into the responsibility that Eren has now that he has Titan powers, and how these newly acquired abilities symbolize a newfound hope for humanity's fight against the Titans. The Battle of the Trost District arc takes place between episodes 5 to 13 of the anime and chapters 3 to 14 of the manga, and in this arc we get to see this cast of characters that we have become familiar with over the training arc face the real threat of the Titans 3 years after the beginning of their training. Literally, on the day of their graduation as trainees, they are thrown into the deep end. Previously, only a select few of the cadets had seen the terror of the Titans up front, but what this arc does masterfully is to level the playing field. It allows for all of the cadets to experience what it feels like to encounter a Titan, and this is before any of them choose what military branch they want to enlist into. Like I covered in the previous video, most of the cadets wanted to join the military police because of the safety and comfort that is associated with living within the innermost wall. This arc puts things into perspective for the cadets of the 104th Training Corp. Isayama depicts the characters losing friends that they have trained with. They witness innocent people and their fellow soldiers being devoured by Titans. You get to see the guilt that forms within the characters, especially those who had more selfish motives for wanting to join the military police. It is difficult for the characters to have gone through the events of this arc and to desire not to fight back against the Titans, and it is for this reason that the majority of the characters who had desired to enlist into the military police change their minds and instead enlist into the Survey Corps regiment. Now this arc begins with the return of the Colossal Titan and an opportunity for Eren to redeem himself as a character. In the past he was powerless and he had no choice but to run away from the threat of the Titans, but in this moment, after having trained for 3 years, he challenges the Colossal Titan head on. He faces off against the oversized Titan that had pushed humanity back further into the walls. The actions of this Titan had led to the death of Eren's mother. After the Colossal Titan appears, its steam blows all of the cadets off of the wall that they were stood on. Eren rallies his friends to switch to the vertical maneuvering gear. After he ensures that everybody is safe, he single-handedly charges towards the Colossal Titan, but then notices it has already kicked a hole into the Trost district. This single action reminds Eren of the death of his mother and his desire to destroy every single Titan. Eren wants to kill the Colossal Titan since it has the ability to destroy the walls that protect humanity. However, just because Eren has a tragic backstory and he has worked hard for the last 3 years and trained with the other cadets, it doesn't mean that any of them are entitled to victory. Isayama loves to dash away the hopes of his characters, and I think this is what keeps us engaged into his story. And of course, it is Eren who first has his hopes for victory dashed by the Colossal Titan, who proves his intelligence by easily swatting away Eren like a fly. Eren also notes that the Colossal Titan's actions appear to be calculated. With his emergence, his steam had purposefully blown off all of the fixed cannons and fixed artillery on top of the wall, which could have been used to attack it. And not only that, the Colossal Titan had kicked through the weakest point of the wall, which is the gate which leads into the Trost district. Before Eren can even land an attack on the Colossal Titan, its gust of steam blows him away, and before he knows it, the Titan has vanished. Their immediate concern now is to plug the hole that the Colossal Titan had formed in the wall. Unfortunately, they will have no assistance from the Survey Corps as they are currently out on an expedition, so it is up to the trainee cadets and the garrison to repair the wall and to prepare for the incoming invasion of the Titans. In the 4th chapter, we learn that preparations were made in case the Colossal Titan had reappeared. A giant boulder was placed into the Trost district. This boulder would effectively be used to plug the hole that has been formed within the wall, but unfortunately because of its size, nobody is able to move it. In a way, this is humanity's last stand. If the Armored Titan appears within the Trost district and breaks through wall rows, then that would signify the end to humanity, as the only remaining safe zone would be the comparatively small area within Wall Sina, so it is imperative that humanity fights back here. Otherwise, if the Titans are allowed to continue at this rate, then it will signify the extinction of the human race. The garrison have been assigned to protect the front and the back of the Trost district, while the trainees remain in the middle. Their goal is to defend wall rows until every last man, woman and child has been evacuated from the Trost district. The gravity of the situation makes the newly graduated trainees filled with anxiousness, to the point that even some of them begin to throw up. Mikasa tries to reassure Eren by saying that she will protect him, but one of the garrison overhears her and tells her that she has been specially assigned to the rear guard. This is because she is considered the best of the best, as she graduated as the #1 cadet within the 104th Training Corp. Before Mikasa leaves for her post, she pleads with Eren not to die, and of course Eren thinks to himself that he has no desire to die here. He is not ready to die because he knows nothing of the outside world yet. After all of their training, Eren and the other cadets are filled with hope. However, their hopes are immediately dashed as their first encounter with the Titan is an abnormal one, and it immediately devours their friend Thomas, who can be seen crying just moments before he is swallowed by the Titan. After witnessing this, Eren's emotions overwhelm him and he rushes towards the Titan, but this is when another Titan stops him by biting off his leg. Armin watches on in horror as he can see the other cadets being picked off one by one by the Titans. When a Titan who frankly looks like Santa Claus is about to devour Armin, Eren appears and swaps places with him. He throws Armin out of the Titan's mouth. He mentions how it was Armin who had told Eren about the outside world. He tells him that he is going to go to the outside world before the Titan chomps down on Eren and swallows him whole. I can still recall the first time that I had witnessed this scene, and the feelings of shock that I had felt when the unprecedented had occurred. I was confused as to how Isayama had just killed off the protagonist of the series, a character who we have become closely attached to at this point. We know their backstory, their motives for taking action, and we see the growth that they have undergone, and it felt like Isayama had thrown all of this to the wayside by killing Eren here. Eren had gone through so much, and even during his training he had rallied up all of the other cadets by sharing with them his ideals of freedom and his beliefs of going to the outside world and to fight back against the Titans. Before presumably having died, Eren is forced to watch all of his comrades that he had been encouraging during their training years be picked off one by one by the Titans. It appears that their training had amounted to nothing. Eren was just as powerless as he was 5 years ago when the Colossal Titan had first appeared. It appears that the only significant thing that Eren was able to do was to save Armin from being killed. During the Battle of Trost, we get two significant flashbacks that occur. Before Eren is devoured by the Santa Claus Titan, we learn that Armin had shown Eren a book about the outside world, a book that his grandpa had owned. We can see that Eren's beliefs of fighting back against the Titans had been formed in this moment. Initially, Eren had responded to Armin by telling him that a book about the outside world is illegal to own, but Armin appears to be too excited by the contents of the book, as he reveals to Eren that the majority of the outside world is covered by water called sea. He goes on to describe that the sea is entirely made up of salt water. The sea is so huge that no merchant would be able to deplete its supply of salt. Armin goes on to read the rest of the book with Eren, as it describes fields of sand, huge areas covered in ice. They learn that the outside world is comparatively much larger than the area that humanity resides within. As children, Armin had told Eren that someday he hopes to explore the outside world. The second flashback, which serves to flesh out the characters of Attack on Titan, occurs in chapter 6. This chapter focuses on the past of Eren and Mikasa, helping to explain why Mikasa has such an obsessive attachment to Eren. In this chapter, we learn that Eren and his father had gone to visit Mikasa's family as they were close family friends, but they discovered that Mikasa's parents have been killed, and Mikasa was knocked unconscious and kidnapped by the thieves. Eren happens to come across the hideout of the thieves. He plays dumb with them as he hides a dagger behind his back, but when one of the kidnappers approaches him, he shows his true colors and slits the kidnapper's neck. This entire scene is slightly disturbing as Eren ambushes the second kidnapper and repeatedly stabs him. It reveals a barbaric animal side to his character. Some would say it foreshadows Eren's actions much later on in the story, but I will cover that when I analyze the events that take place in season 4 of Attack on Titan. Eren ends up freeing Mikasa, but when a third kidnapper appears, he attacks Eren. When he's being strangled, he pleads with Mikasa to fight. He tells her that if she doesn't fight, then they cannot win. After Mikasa realizes that the world is a cruel place and she has no choice but to fight, her body had stopped trembling. She wields Eren's dagger as she awakens her Ackerman powers in this moment. Completely controlling her body, she charges towards the third kidnapper, stabbing him in the heart and consequently saving Eren. After this day, Mikasa was looked after by Eren's family. When she states that she feels cold, Eren wraps his scarf around her, and we learn that she still wears this scarf even to this day. After the death of her parents, she realized in the world she still has a place to go home to, as long as Eren is still alive. alive, then she's able to do anything. The events that had led up to Eren being devoured by the Titan prove that he is a very naive and impulsive character. After the death of Thomas Wagner, Eren had impulsively charged towards the Titan. He has incredible resolve and this is admirable, but his actions here had led to the deaths of most of his comrades. Everybody except Armin had been spared. So after Eren is devoured by the Titan, Armin awakes to discover that all of his teammates have been killed. What is interesting is that Eren and Armin are very different characters. Armin excels in his deductive reasoning skills and his ability to strategize and lead others into combat, but when it comes to actual hand-to-hand combat, he's a coward. In some moments during the story, Eren's idealistic perspective assists Armin to overcome his cowardly nature, while contrastingly, Armin was the entire reason that Eren had learnt about the outside world and a desire to go see it for himself. In a way, Armin was pivotal for the idealistic vision that Eren forms of the world, a world without titans, a world where humanity is no longer caged. However, in this moment after Eren dies, Armin loses his sense of reasoning. He panics and feels guilty for the death of Eren. With Eren exiting the story for now, the story focuses on the supporting cast members of Attack on Titan. And I've already spoken briefly about Mikasa and Armin, but it's a breath of fresh air and a change of pace from constantly experiencing the narrative through Eren's headstrong perspective. Earlier, I'd spoken about how characters who were adamant on joining the military police were forced to change their mind during this portion of the story. One of the characters who we follow go through this change of mind is Jean. He experiences the dangers of fighting on the front line. Jean is made responsible for leading a group of trainee cadets. He is put into a position of empathy. Usually, Jean would try to distance himself from getting too emotionally involved in a situation, but for the first time with Titans being involved, he has no choice but to be involved. And through this arc, we get to see Jean transform from an apathetic, self-centered individual to a very sympathetic leader. He values the lives of the cadets that he is leading, and it is thanks to his actions that most of them are able to survive. After learning that he has a talent for being on the battlefield, he realizes that he isn't destined for this easy life that he had wanted within the military police. After this arc, he is forced to make a decision, whether if he is going to provide his skills and his talents to the Survey Corps in their fight for humanity, or if he is going to sit back and live within the interior. It is a very relatable choice of either being in your comfort zone or having the courage to step out of it. Back in 2013, during my first experience with Attack on Titan, I didn't really think much of Jean's character, but now after breaking down and analysing the story and having read the manga counterpart to the anime, I have a newfound appreciation for Jean's character, and he has easily become one of my favourites. He starts off headstrong and set in his ways, arguing with Eren, but after he is made to experience the true terror of the Titans, he is forced to deal with some uncomfortable truths, and is made to decide what course of action he wants to take in the future, whether if he wants to fight for humanity or remain selfish and focus on living a comfortable life, while others who don't have the luxury of choosing to be in the military police fight and put their lives on the line. Jean is also heavily impacted at the end of this arc after he discovers the body of Marco. Despite the many reasons to celebrate at the end of the Trost Arc, the large number of casualties overshadow humanity's first victory against the Titans. I like to believe that the death of Marco really pushes Jean's character into enlisting into the Survey Corps. After the death of Eren, the soldiers and the cadets were given orders to scale out of the district. However, most of the cadets are unable to evacuate because they are running out of gas, and they are unable to replenish their gas cylinders because the supply depot has been overrun by Titans. Instead of escaping, Mikasa decides to regroup with the other cadets. After finding Armin, he breaks down in tears and is unable to face Mikasa, as he reveals to her the entirety of his squad, including Eren, have been killed. She is speechless, but she reacts in a very composed manner, as she tells Armin to calm down as it's no time to be getting sentimental. Mikasa tries to distract herself from the information that she has just learnt by carrying out her duty. She states that if she doesn't fight that she cannot win. She rushes off to kill as many Titans as she can. With everybody's gas reserves on low, they note that Mikasa is burning up too much gas and she is going to run out soon. Armin notes that she is far from composed. She is hiding her grief by taking action, and as expected, Mikasa runs out of gas and plummets to the ground. She falls to her knees and comments on how after losing Eren, she has lost the final member of her family. She recalls back to the feelings that she had felt when she had first lost her parents. She goes on to state that it is a cruel world that she lives in, but yet there is so much beauty within it, as she remembers Eren wrapping his scarf around her neck. A Titan appears to be approaching Mikasa as she is about to accept her death, but she remembers back to her childhood when Eren had told her to fight and to attack the kidnapper that was strangling him. She wields her blade and activates her Ackerman spirit and faces off against the Titan. That is until a mysterious Titan appears behind her. This mysterious long-haired Titan appears to be protecting Mikasa as it punches the Titan that is about to devour her. At the turning point of this arc, Mikasa is shocked to witness how one Titan is killing another. Everybody witnesses the mysterious Titan fight against the Titans that have invaded the Trost district. Mikasa comments on how this mysterious Titan appears to have an idea of combat skills. After learning that everybody's supplies are running short, they devise a plan to recapture the supply depot. During this portion of the story, we really get to see the cadets of the 104th Training Corp work together and solidify their friendships. It appears that Mikasa and Connie had eliminated all of the Titans around the mysterious Titan. They had led the long-haired Titan over to the supply depot, where it is now going on a rampage and attacking all of the Titans around the supply depot. Mikasa comments on how this abnormal mysterious Titan is their best means of survival. After replenishing their gas reserves, they leave the supply depot and witness that the mysterious Titan that was assisting them is being overwhelmed by ordinary Titans. They are feeding on the Titan's body, but when the abnormal Titan that had devoured Thomas Wagner appears, the mysterious Titan gets enraged, and with a final burst of energy, it attacks the Titan that had killed Thomas. After this, the Titan collapses. The cadets of the 104th Training Corp witness as Eren emerges from the body of the mysterious Titan. In a shocking turn of events, Eren is still alive, and it appears that he has the ability to turn into a Titan. Mikasa immediately grabs hold of Eren and brings him to safety, as we see that he has grown back the limbs that he had lost earlier. In chapter 10, we learn what had happened after Eren was devoured by the Titan. Eren enters the stomach of the Titan to discover the corpses of several different soldiers, as he begins to realize that all of his efforts were in vain. While he is being digested, he clings on to his intense desire to kill every last one of the Titans, and this is what leads to him transforming and breaking out of the Titan. Believe it or not, this happens in front of Armin, but because of the shock that Armin is in, he completely misses it. Eren's Titan appears right out of the corpse of the Titan that had devoured him. This intense and very traumatic incident pushes Eren to utilize these abilities that he didn't even know that he had. While in this Titan form, it appears that Eren is unable to communicate, and at this point we don't really know if he has complete control over his body. It appears that Eren's Titan is acting on the final thought that Eren had before he transformed: Eren's intense desire to kill every last Titan on this earth. Eren awakens at the end of chapter 10 being surrounded by guards, but he's being protected by Mikasa and Armin. After Eren regains consciousness, the soldiers begin to question Eren, as they state that because he had transformed into a Titan, he has committed treason against the human race. They question Eren whether if he is a man or a Titan, with the soldiers being very cautious, as they are even fearing the appearance of the armored Titan, which could destroy Wall Maria and signal the extinction of humanity. They are not willing to take any chances on Eren, who appears to have transformed into a Titan. Out of fear, when the soldiers decide to kill Eren while he is in his human form, Mikasa appears to protect him. The soldiers are reluctant to fight against Mikasa, because apparently she is an Ackerman, which means that she is a elite soldier. She is as valuable as 100 soldiers. Mikasa refuses to let Eren die in this instance, while Eren tries to figure out what on earth is going on. He is confused as to why everybody thinks that he is a Titan, because he cannot even remember how he got here. Despite having transformed into a Titan, Eren declares that he is a human. When these soldiers are about to attack Eren and Mikasa and Armin are about to take him to safety, he notices that he is wearing a necklace that has a key attached to it. Now, if you recall right to the start of Attack on Titan, Grisha Yeager had been wearing this necklace around his neck. While holding this key, Grisha had told Eren that he would return home and would tell him the secrets that lie within the basement. Eren then appears to have a very traumatic flashback, as he recalls his father having handed him this key in the woods, telling him that he has to go to the basement one day. After handing the key over to Eren, he injects him with some liquid. During this flashback, we learn that Eren's father had told him to go to the basement where he will learn the truth, but it will be a difficult road to get there, because he will first have to recapture Wall Maria. He then tells him that he is going to give him the power that will help him to recapture Wall Maria and to get back to Shiganshina so that he can go to the basement. The final thing that he remembers his father telling him is that their memories will teach him how to use it. If he wants to save Mikasa, Armin and everybody else, he will have to learn to control his powers. And right at this moment, when the soldiers fire cannons towards the three of them, Eren transforms into a Titan, but it doesn't appear to be a complete transformation. It's mostly the skeletal structure of the top half of the Titan, with some muscle tissue around the shoulders and the arms. After Eren leaves the Titan's body, Armin declares that he is going to convince the military not to kill Eren. He tries to convince them that Eren is still of sound mind and reason, and he is helping the humans. He even goes on to say that the ordinary Titans were devouring Eren's Titan form as if it was prey. When the military remain to be unfazed by Armin's words, he courageously speaks out and states that he had vowed a long time ago to dedicate his heart to the recovery of the human race. Even if it means that his life ends here, he intends to keep this vow. He tells the military that if they were to combine Eren's Titan powers with the remaining military force that they have, have, then it may be possible to recapture the Trost district. He begs and pleads with the military commander to allow him to explain the strategy that he has to recapture the town. Despite this courageous act, the captain still remains committed to kill Eren, but that is until Commander Pixis arrives. Armin proposes to Commander Pixis that they can utilize Eren's Titan powers to seal the breach that has formed within the Trost district. Commander Pixis agrees to Armin's plans, as they place the future of humanity in the hands of Eren, as for the first time humanity is utilizing the powers of Titans to fight back against the Titans. Armin is proposing that Eren transforms into the Titan and carries that large boulder that is within the Trost district to plug the hole that was formed within the wall, and thus reclaiming the Trost district. Eren states that he will assist them in whatever way that he can, and he is determined to seal the breach within the wall. Armin is surprised that Commander Pixis wants to carry out this plan immediately. It appears that Eren needs to act quickly and to prove that he is on the side of the humans. If he doesn't plug the hole now, then it will give opportunity for others to discuss whether if Eren should even be alive, and they may even be speculating that he is an enemy of humanity working alongside the armored and colossal titans. Commander Pixis relays the plans to the other soldiers, as he reveals that Eren has been undergoing secret Titan transformation experiments. He tells the other soldiers that their task is to protect Eren while he carries the boulder to plug the hole. After convincing the soldiers to go along with this plan, they leave the rest to Eren, as he literally carries the future of humanity in his hands. If this plan is successful, then it will signify the first ever time that humanity has taken back land from the Titans. It will be humanity's first victory against their enemy. The plan commences as Eren transforms into a Titan, but unpredictably he looks at Mikasa's direction and punches towards her, as it quickly becomes apparent that at present Eren has no control over his powers. Commander Pixis emphasizes that humanity is on the brink of extinction, and it is for this reason that he is willing to rely on Eren's Titan abilities to give humanity a fighting chance to survive. Mikasa narrowly escapes Eren's attack, as his Titan form continues to target her. She tries to reason with the Titan form, reminding Eren that they are family, but he doesn't appear to be listening to reason. The plan already appears to be falling apart as ordinary Titans are now approaching their location. The other soldiers are wanting to abandon the plan, but Commander Pixis stays the course. After having punched himself, Eren's Titan form appears to be slumped against the large boulder. Armin arrives to help Eren while the other soldiers keep the ordinary Titans preoccupied. He speaks to Eren, telling him to wake up. While Eren is asleep and trapped within the body of his Titan, Armin attempts to remind him of his purpose, reminding him about his desire to avenge the death of his mother, as well as his desire to destroy the Titans. Eren is trapped in a dreamlike trance, while Armin tries to snap him out of it and to bring him back to his senses. He reminds Eren of their desire to one day explore the outside world, how they will travel far beyond the walls. They will see the burning water, the lands of ice, and the plains of sand. He questions if Eren has forgotten about all of this. Eren remembers his desire to go to the outside world, as he recalls the reason behind why he had formed this desire, which is because he was born into this world. It is his right to go there. While countless soldiers have been devoured trying to protect Eren, Eren eventually gets up and carries the boulder on his shoulders. While more Titans are entering into the Trost district, Eren walks towards the hole with the boulder. His actions are proving that all of the soldiers that had just died didn't die in vain. The soldiers continue to defend Eren, as they are adamant to defend him to the death. They state that even if it costs them all of their lives, they need to protect Eren until he gets to the gate. Mikasa and Armin rush towards Eren's Titan, while the remaining soldiers continue to distract the Titans away from Eren. The soldiers sacrifice their lives while Eren pushes forward. He realizes that it doesn't matter how terrifying the world is. It doesn't matter how cruel the world is. Humanity needs to continue to fight. They need to fight against the cruelty and the threat of the Titans. He lets out a huge Titan roar as he successfully carries the boulder to the hole. Placing it in front of the breach, Eren has successfully reclaimed back the Trost district, proving that all of the soldiers that had just died while protecting Eren didn't die in vain. This signals humanity's first victory against the Titans. The operation led by Commander Pixis was a success. When Armin and Mikasa recover Eren's body, a Titan appears to be targeting them, but just as they are about to be picked up by a Titan, a mysterious individual arrives and defeats the two Titans that were targeting them. This individual is donning the Wings of Freedom emblem on his back, as it is revealed that the Survey Corps have arrived, and the trio of Eren, Armin, and Mikasa were just saved by Levi. The third arc of Attack on Titan concludes with the arrival of the Survey Corps. Thanks to the efforts of the graduated cadets, the garrison, and especially Eren, Wall Rose was successfully defended against the Titans. And like I have mentioned several times in this video, this was the first time that the human race had successfully stopped a Titan invasion. It was a remarkable feat that most thought was impossible. However, it is difficult to celebrate this victory, because far too many lives were lost during the battle for Trost, and one of these these lives had been from the 104th Training Corp. I'm referring to Marco, who had survived up until the plan to plug the hole in the Trost district was initiated. We don't know how Marco was killed. We see his lifeless corpse when Jean unexpectedly comes across it. I remember the emotions that I had felt when I first saw the body of Marco. Despite the victory in the Trost district being very significant, it all felt so bittersweet. It was difficult to celebrate after the large loss of lives, and how Isayama had depicted how cruel the world of Attack on Titan is. But what makes it feel so worthwhile to have experienced all of this cruelty are the few glimmers of hope that Isayama instills into his story. The most significant one is the revelation that Eren has Titan abilities, and how he utilizes them to reclaim land back from the Titans. This arc excelled in sharing with us the perspective of the other soldiers. A lot of screen time was given to them as we get to appreciate how it feels like to fight on the front lines against the Titans. The third arc of Attack on Titan is unlike anything that we have seen in the story up until this point. The second arc of the series gave the cadets hope, as after 3 years of training they appeared to be more prepared to face off against the Titans, but their hopes of being prepared are quickly dashed, as the reality of facing off against man-eating giants proves too much for them to handle. Because Eren was taken out so early on in this arc, it gave us an opportunity to grow some attachment with these side characters. We had the opportunity to witness their camaraderie as they banded together and fought against their hopeless situation. When they were pinned up against the wall, they continued to strategize, and we got to see a completely different side to Armin, as we learned that he has the skills to be a very competent leader. Another aspect that I loved about this arc is that we got to see some character flaws of Mikasa, and we see how she overly relies on Eren to the point that it is destructive to herself. Another key moment that occurs during this arc is this flashback where Eren remembers his father. This flashback occurs when Eren sees the key to the basement hanging around his neck. From this scene, Isayama wastes no time by explaining to us that Grisha is responsible for Eren's Titan abilities. In addition to this, we as the audience as well as Eren learn that the secret behind the Titans lies within the ruins of the Shiganshina district. Inside his house within the basement lies the secrets to the world of Attack on Titan. This teaser is the perfect goal that embeds within our minds, as I'm sure that all of you, including myself, were desperate to learn about the secrets within the basement as early as this portion of the story, where Isayama had tactfully foreshadowed his story and placed his seeds into our mind. After Eren witnesses the memories of his past, he knows instinctively how to transform into his Titan form. He bites his own hand and voluntarily transforms into the Titan to protect his friends. Isayama knows how to effectively convey human emotions to us, as through this arc his characters convey to us their thoughts, emotions, fears and insecurities. One such moment is when the troops begin to despair when Commander Pixis tells them that they have to go back onto the battlefield in order to distract the Titans away from Eren. Commander Pixis ends up delivering to them a speech which morally uplifts them. He makes them visualize how they would feel if one day the Titans were to attack their own families. The terror that they are feeling right now, would they want their family members to feel this terror? If they don't want this to happen to their loved ones, then they need to fight right now. Even prior to the mission beginning, Eren is given a reality check of his own. He is told about the importance of all of the lives that are about to be sacrificed so that Eren has this opportunity to prove himself. This arc, which occurs right at the beginning of the series, places humanity in a desperate situation, and Eren's Titan abilities are the only way out of it. In such a short period of time, Eren has to learn how to control his powers, and the stakes are incredibly high. After seeing chapter after chapter with the situation getting more and more bleak, we frankly want Eren to succeed as bad as he wants to succeed for himself. Through Eren being reminded of all of the sacrifices that are about to take place, we too are reminded of the significance of this moment. Eren needs to do the impossible and fight for the sake of humanity. So early on in the story, so many people had already given up their lives, believing that Eren was the future for humanity. As the story progresses, we learn that this trend does not end here. As the story continues, many more people pin their hopes on Eren, believing that he will lead humanity to victory against the Titans. And as this Attack on Titan arc analysis series continues, we'll be going into each of these instances and analyzing Eren's perspective as well as the perspective of the soldiers that are protecting him. So I hope that you enjoyed listening to my opinions on the third arc of Attack on Titan, the Battle of Trost Arc. I believe that it is one of the most creative and impactful arcs to occur so early on in any story, and I hold this arc responsible for the reason why most of us had fallen in love with Attack on Titan and had wanted to see the story to its completion. So let me know your thoughts on the Battle of Trost. Are there any points that I forgot to mention? And were there any points that I spoke about that resonated with you? I would love for all of you to continue the discussion in the comments. And as for the next video, I'll be doing an in-depth analysis of the fourth arc of Attack on Titan, the Female Titan arc, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss it. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, then please consider supporting my channel on Patreon. I have multiple tiers with rewards including access to an exclusive Discord server, video scripts, as well as being the first to know about unreleased upcoming videos. Thank you for your time, and whatever you choose to contribute I will appreciate, and it will mean a lot to me.